Well, they told me I only got one shot to review 8 Mile in 4K, and I'm about to take it, so let's do this. Hey, what is up everybody? Welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel, your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. And today, guys, we are going to review and talk about 8 Mile on 4K, one of the latest releases from Universal. And I have the Groove exclusive steelbook, which I will do an unboxing for very shortly. But yeah, look at this steelbook, it's awesome. But yeah, we're gonna dive into the movie. We're gonna talk about the transfer and all that stuff. I just watched this the other night. God, I have not seen 8 Mile probably since it came out. It's been 20 years since I've seen this movie, so it was definitely a blast from the past to go back and watch 8 Mile for sure. But look, before we get into it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We talk about Blu-rays and 4Ks and physical media on this channel, owning the movies that you love, all that stuff every single week. Every single day we do a video here on this channel. So if you like that kind of stuff, hit the subscribe button. Also be sure to hit that like button for me. And then comment down below, guys, what's your thoughts on 8 Mile? Is this a movie that you enjoy? I've been kind of roasting this movie, this 4K leading up to it, just saying that this is one that out of all the 4Ks they could have done, 8 Mile was probably like on the bottom tier of like what I would want, and yet I still bought it. But I bought it to, you know, show off and review for the people, and I actually love this steelbook. I really like the steelbook. So yeah, we're going to talk about this today. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comment section below. Turn on the bell notifications. So before I get into talking about the movie and the transfer and all that stuff, let's go to the table. Let's do a quick unboxing, and then we'll come back and talk about it. All right, so let's get into this steelbook. And as you can see, you have this, what I would call not a J card, but a U card, because it kind of curves around both sides. So you have the top right there with the 4K Ultra HD, and you have the 20th anniversary limited edition steelbook down there at the bottom. And then you flip it over, you got all the stuff at the top, 4 times sharper than full HD, all that stuff. You get, if you only get one shot, one opportunity, would you capture it or just let it slip? That's a famous quote from the movie. You got the synopsis right there. You got some images right there in the middle. You got the casting list, you got the bonus features, and then all the specs down there at the bottom, which I'll try to show off to you guys best I can. And then we'll go ahead and take that J card off and just look at this cover right here. And for what I know, this is Groove's first ever exclusive steelbook. And I think that they did a terrific job of the steelbook. You got a nice matte finish right here. You got a nice little image of Eminem on the cover with the headphones and the toboggan, as I like to call it. You got 8 Mile kind of curved above his head, and kind of zooming in there, you get kind of a map. Almost like a Google map of I guess like 8 Mile and Detroit and all that stuff. So that's pretty cool. And then you kind of flip it over and you got the spine. You got 8 Mile on the spine. You also got the Universal logo. I just like the font style. It's almost graffiti style. So I really dig that a lot. Flip it over. You got B Rabbit performing in front of the audience. I imagine that's from the end scene of the movie. So really good stuff. And you got the Universal logo down there at the bottom. Go ahead and open this up. And this is a 2-disc set. You get the 8 Mile disc, which is an awesome 4K disc. Again, you got that map right there with the 8 Mile logo, and you get all the specs and stuff on the disc. Take that out. Just a basic Blu-ray disc. I imagine this is the same Blu-ray that they've been using for the past few years. Go ahead and take that out. Oh my goodness, I almost dropped it. And then we'll show the image right here. You got B Rabbit and another character from the film. I can't remember his name, doing the battle rap stuff. So cool. They have some interior artwork in here as well. So yeah, guys, that's the steelbook. And what am I doing putting the fork in? Let's go ahead and get back and talk about the movie and the transfer and all the rest of the stuff. Let's go. Now that we've unboxed the steelbook, let's get into talking about this movie. And look, I got to be honest. I got to be honest here. I'm still going to review the movie in the 4K, but after doing that unboxing, my palms are a little sweaty and my knees are a little weak. And you know, I'm not wearing a sweater, but I got vomit on my t-shirt, and I'm pretty sure it's my mom's spaghetti that did it to me, okay? Pretty sure it's my mom's spaghetti, but I'm going to try to get through this review the best I can, even with sweaty palms, weak knees, vomit all over my shirt. It's completely ridiculous. I'm sorry. I couldn't resist. Look, the jokes are there. The jokes are there. Lose yourself and and all that stuff. Take your best shot. Is that what they say in the movie? But look, let's get into talk about this movie. I like to talk about the actual films themselves. This movie came out in 2002. This was when I was in high school. This movie came out. So, you know, growing up, Eminem definitely was a big part of my adolescence for sure. I was a big Eminem fan, at least of his first two albums. And I listened to mostly like rock and stuff, like grunge rock and nu metal and stuff when I was a kid. But there's something about Eminem that it's like, I don't think that there was anybody that didn't like Eminem like back in his prime. Like he was just the most popular artist that there was. You know, there was just something about him. He was just so like counterculture, and he just kind of take no shit, and he was just dropping pipe bombs left and right. It was just something about that kind of anti-hero attitude that everybody gravitated towards. And it was all over the place in the 90s, early 2000s, even in wrestling. Yeah, he was basically the Stone Cold Steve Austin of musical artists. And I think that's why people gravitated towards him. So it was just this no BS, no bullshit attitude. Say whatever you want, offend whoever you want. And he became super popular because of it. So yeah, I was definitely a big Eminem fan. And when this movie came out, I feel like I was pretty excited to see it. I don't remember if I saw it in the theaters though. I don't feel like I saw it till it came to DVD. And I remember thinking even back then, it was okay, but I don't feel like they did as good of a job as they could have done with this movie. I feel like they could have gone more places in this movie than they did, especially considering how big of a superstar that Eminem was. I just remember feeling a little disappointed. Like this movie is a little bit too paint by numbers, and I still largely feel that way. But again, we'll get into some of my pros of this movie that I can definitely pick out now for sure. This movie was directed by Curtis Hanson, who has an incredible filmography. He did movies like LA Confidential. He did Hand That Rocks the Cradle, which I still need to see. I've not seen that movie, but he has so many great movies in his resume. And I think that he did a really good job. Again, this movie feels like when you're watching it, it's in very capable hands. Like somebody that knows how to make a film is making this movie. So I think that this movie definitely has a lot of strength in that, just being in a capable filmmaker's hands for sure. Movie is starring Eminem. You got Brittany Murphy. You got Kim Basinger in this movie. Those two I remember being in this movie. But then you got Michael Shannon, who I did not remember was in this movie. And Anthony Mackie is in this movie as well. And he's great. I love him in this movie. And it's hard. I don't think I knew that Anthony Mackie had been acting for this long. I know he was in The Hurt Locker, but I thought that was one of his first movies. But of course, he's Falcon and you know, the Winter Soldier and Avengers movies and all the Marvel movies. He's making all the money now. He's a big superstar. But in this movie, he's great. Like he's kind of the rival to Eminem. And I thought his performance was absolutely fantastic, especially at the end, like at the end of the rap battle. Just the way that he plays that is so chicken shit and awesome. He's so great at it. I just love like the facial expressions. I think Anthony Mackie maybe does the best job, like gives the best performances in this entire movie. And he's not even in it that much. I just really love him in this film for sure. The movie, when it came out though, $51 million it opened to. So this was, again, it spoke to the popularity of Eminem at the time. Like people were down to see an Eminem biopic in the theaters. And this has to be one of the only cases of the actual musical artist playing himself in his own biopic. And again, this came out 3 years after he popped, or like 3 or 4 years, maybe he popped in like 1998. So it makes sense they would get him to play himself because he was still fairly young. Like it wasn't not that much time had passed. So this is, you know, a loose retelling of Eminem's life and beginnings in Detroit in 1995. When I say loose retelling, I mean the stuff that they add into this movie, some of the stuff, even they talk about it in the special features. Eminem even talks about it himself. They couldn't make everything 100% accurate. This is definitely, you know, based on some of the stuff that happened to him, but a lot of this stuff they added in just to make it feel a little bit more movie-like and cinematic. I do enjoy this movie. I'm not going to say I don't enjoy this movie. I sat down and watched it the other night. It's about 2 hours long. I feel it's a little long. I kind of felt the length just a little bit. But I really did enjoy watching it. I had not seen it in 20 years since it came out. I just never felt compelled to ever watch it again after I saw it. But it's a good movie. It's a good movie. There's good performances. I think Kim Basinger as his mom is really good. Brittany Murphy, she has such a likability to her, just such like a natural charisma. I wish she was still with us for sure. I mean, definitely tragic that she's passed away already, but she's great in the movie. Kim Basinger's great. Michael Shannon is awesome too in this movie. He's a complete dick, douchebag, asshole. He plays it so well. Like, he looks so young in this movie also. But it's a good movie, but it's definitely in a glorified and embellished look at Eminem's life that paints him in the best way possible. Like, he looks golden in this movie. And I just have a hard time believing that he made all the right choices, that he was this, heroic, that he did all the right things, because they really paint him as kind of like the hero of his own story, and I really doubt that it went down that way 100%. Eminem's really good in this movie. I don't know how many other movies he acted in. I know he's done some cameos here and there, but has he done any like other performances in anything? I can't think of anything off the top of my head. And he's not great in the movie, but again, he's playing himself. So like, how good do you really have to be? Like, as long as you can just like invoke that natural charisma of your, personality, of your musical artist personality, then you're fine. And he absolutely does that. And I think that he has good chemistry with the other like real actors in this movie. I think his chemistry with Brittany Murphy is really good. His chemistry with his mom is really good. They have some really great scenes together. So I think he does a good job. I think everybody in this movie does a good job. And the ending of this movie, like, if you're not like 100% like hyped by the end of this movie, that there's something wrong, because it's a real like super hype ending. Like, you get Eminem up there just kind of, I feel like they show a lot of restraint in the movie, like the whole way through. He does a few little rap battles here and there, but they really save a lot of that stuff for the ending, the finale, the rap battle. And they totally deliver on it, because it's just like this character you're watching through the whole movie. He finally gets to come back and have his underdog victory, and it's absolutely glorious, and it definitely gets you hyped. It kind of reminds me a little bit, again, not up there with Rocky, but it kind of reminds you a little bit of the ending of a Rocky movie, where Rocky actually, wins, like a Rocky 2 or Rocky 3 or something. Has that kind of feeling to it. So the ending is very strong. And 8 Mile. So overall, look, I like this movie. I realized on the past few like reviews I've been doing, I haven't been doing like my score for the movie. So I'll give this movie, and I want to get back to doing that, by the way. I'll give this movie a 3.5 out of 5, leaning towards possibly a 4, but I do really like this movie. Now let's go ahead and get into this transfer by Universal. So this is a 4K upscale with HDR. So this is not a native 4K restoration. This movie was shot on 35mm back in 2002, but even though it's not a native 4K restoration, not a from the ground up 4K restoration, it is just only a 4K upscale of the previous 2K Blu-rays that have released, which there have been 2 of those, I believe, one in 2009 and one in 2011. There's also a couple of Blu-ray steelbooks that have come out as well. And from what I know, they're all the same transfer. Again, I could be wrong in that. But for this just being in a 4K upscale, I thought that this actually looked pretty damn good. Like, I was almost like in my mind when I was watching it, I was almost comparing it to the Drive 4K that came out from Second Sight, a few months ago. And again, I'm not going to say it's of that level, of that quality, but it just has that kind of same like dreary feel to it, almost like the same type of aesthetic, just like the, kind of like dark, dirty, wet, dingy streets and stuff, just that atmosphere. So again, I'm not saying that it's as good as that transfer, but I was kind of getting those same kind of vibes. It's just, you can really feel the weight and the depth of this transfer. So I think this is actually a really great 4K transfer, a really beautiful 4K transfer with some great definition and clarity. The deep black, there are some extremely deep blacks in this movie. Black level's absolutely fantastic. And the color, not necessarily the vibrancy, but just the richness of the color in some of these scenes and like the streets and the trailer park. And this movie just has a real like natural feel to it. There's some great facial detail as well, like some real close-ups in this movie on all the characters, and you can just see every single detail and imperfection and all the pores and all that. The battle at the end, though, and again, this is like the big set piece moment of the movie. The battle at the end looked great, again, with the aesthetic, just kind of the dreary aesthetic of that kind of underground nightclub, the blues and the greens. And you could just see the whole crowd with Eminem standing there, just kind of faced out. And you could see the whole crowd like jumping and hooting and hollering. And it all looked fantastic. You could just see every detail. You could see every face in the crowd. And you can just see their reaction and their expressions, and all of that stuff looked fantastic. I thought that this was a great transfer. And again, I was critical about this movie getting a 4K transfer. I'm still of the opinion that I wanted to see maybe like 100 other movies on 4K before this one. But it's still a great transfer, and I'm happy that people get to experience it that love this movie, because I know that there's a lot of people that do really love this movie, and you're going to get some great quality in this 4K release for sure. Now, getting into the audio, you get a DTS-X, which is pretty much comparable to Atmos 7.1. Sounded fantastic, like especially when you get to, again, I keep talking about the end sequence, but just everything, the score and the soundtrack, is everything's bumping and thumping, and it all sounded great on my soundbar and my subwoofer, all that stuff. Just feel the music and just the vibes and all that stuff, the raps and all that, the 8 Mile, the Mom Spaghetti. You can just feel it all around you, engulfing my living room as I was listening to it. And I thought it sounded absolutely fantastic. Now, getting into the special features, you only get a few special features in this, and they were all ported over from previous DVD, Blu-ray releases. So you get a making of 8 Mile, which is actually a pretty good little making of. I watched a little bit of it, just talking about the making of the movie. And I'm pretty sure this was maybe done back when the DVD was done, but you get to hear from Curtis Hanson and Eminem just talking about the movie and the process of making it. You get some exclusive rap battles, uncensored, and then you get the Eminem Superman music video, and that is uncensored, and what a music video it is. So yeah, not a lot of special features. Again, I hate to keep criticizing, I hate to keep beating the drum, but I'm gonna keep beating it till these studios do something about it. But for God's sakes, this is the 20th anniversary of this film. You guys couldn't get something new. Eminem couldn't do a new special features for his movie in its 20th anniversary. You're telling me you couldn't get Marshall Mathers to do a retrospective interview on 8 Mile for the 20th anniversary of this film? I just think it's ridiculous that they're not providing you with anything new in this release. It's the 20th anniversary. Like, why wouldn't you try to add something new in there in terms of special features to make it more worth your while to upgrade, to pick this up? I just don't understand it. But anyway, guys, that is my review of 8 Mile, my review unboxing. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I do recommend picking this up, especially if you're a fan of the movie and if you can still get your hands on the Steelbook. I actually believe it's on sale right now for $19.99. So again, I'll link the Steelbook down below. I'll also link the regular 4K edition as well. But thank y'all so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, turn on the bell notifications, and follow me on all my social media accounts. Those links are down below in the description, and we'll see you next time.